So our plan is to complete our 2-week hearing, get our report underway, and we are going to identify key people who have failed in their duty. And it's our intention to privately prosecute those people who have not done what they should have done to protect vulnerable white working class girls from this country who have been mass gang raped by largely Pakistani Muslim men. And this is happening across Britain, and it's an absolute national scandal.
At this point, this is where she would go missing for 2-3 weeks at a time. I had my fears of what was going on. Them fears were confirmed a couple of years ago. So she was living in this property. She was on a child in need. She was well known to the missing persons team at Tameside Police, Great Manchester Police. I would be driving around constantly every single night, knocking on people's doors, you know, friends of hers, trying to find where she is. Eventually, I found this property. And I try and get into this property. But also, what's important with this, 4 doors down from this terrace house is a police station. I found the property, seen her in the property, tried getting into the property. Then I went to a police station, which is Derbyshire Police, and said, my daughter, 14-year-old, is in there. I believe she's been prostituted out.
Yes.
Yeah? Can you get her out of the property for me? Where do you live, sir? I live in Tameside. Sorry, we can't get involved. She's not a Derbyshire resident. I was ringing the police every night, saying, I'm at this property now. This is Tameside Police. Somebody will be there in 10 minutes. So this would be, let's say, approximately 11 o'clock at night. I was still sat there in the middle of the winter at 4 a.m. and the police didn't attend. This went on numerous times.
What reasons would they give?
Well, they didn't give me any reasons. They said they were going to turn up.
Right.
And then they didn't. So then I would get a couple of hours sleep, go to work. Then I'll be ringing the police from work for an update. Then I find out that the missing from home officers, when they came in to work at 9 a.m, I closed it. And this continuously happened. Now, to understand the missing from home police, they worked Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. And I brought this up in meetings and said, do children not go missing at weekend or in the nights? Why isn't a more extended service? Eventually, the 2 officers text me and said, your daughter is safe. She's with her friend. So the police left her there with the groom.
Why do you think the police had that attitude?
I think, or I believe, Scarlett was a massive problem. I went to a meeting, a STRAP meeting, at Children's Social Services in Denton, with the missing from home. I requested this, with the social worker and the manager. And they told me to stop reporting my daughter missing. She's 14 still, because it's screwing up their figures. I argued and shouted at me, stop reporting your daughter missing.
Because the figures would have been screwed up?
Basically, yeah. Yeah. When that happened, I was always really polite to the police and social services, and in some way intimidated, quite anxious by them. That was the big change in me in that meeting. That was the critical incident where I wouldn't put up with it anymore. And I thought, I really need to start fighting now, or my daughter's going to be dead. But she was great. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh yeah, she was an angel, she was amazing, because she really wasn't, because she was a character. Unfortunately, I'll never see that again, because what happened to her completely destroyed all that personality.
That was how it started.
So what happened that night?
Nothing, not for weeks. He kept picking us up multiple times a week, taking us to these parks and parking up. He would buy us alcohol from the petrol station, cigs, bring us food. He would play cards with us and listen to music, talk with us, and he would talk about our past, our history at home before we went into care. As an adult, I recognised he was trying to build up a picture of our vulnerabilities before anything progressed any further. As a child, we just thought he wanted to be our friend.
But that's really interesting. That's something we've noticed. So he was trying to pick up on your vulnerabilities. How was he doing that?
So he was asking us, like, the other girl that was with me, her mum had died, so he was asking about how she felt about that and all the ins and outs of that with me. He was asking about what I'd experienced at home. It was like he was trying to realise what we were lacking, so then he could offer us it, which would then build that emotional bond between us and him.
Is it fair to say he was testing the water almost to see
Yes.
what support network you had around you?
Yes, and I also think the first incident was also a test in the water. So one night he took us to a dingy hotel, one that's used for like brothel work.
Just stop you at this, but so he picked you up from the children's home and took
Yeah.
you to a dingy hotel?
Yeah, he said that he didn't want to drive around all night. He wanted to be able to drink with us and have fun. We'd been out with him for a number of weeks at this point, so we felt kind of lulled into a false sense of security. We went to this hotel and we drank. We had vodka and Lucozade bottles, and we tipped half the Lucozade bottles out and pour it in with vodka instead, and we were drinking that in the hotel. I remember my friend being really drunk, and there was a double bed, and like I was laid in the middle, she was laid at one side of me and he was laid at the other side of me, and then he waited until my friend had gone into the bathroom, and then she stumbled back in extremely drunk, and he pushed his hands down my pants and sexually assaulted me.